Good evening. Welcome to the November 25th meeting of the Aiken City Council. If you're inclined, please rise for the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, send down upon those who hold office in the city of Aiken the spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice, that with steadfast purpose they may faithfully serve in their offices to promote the well-being of all people. In your name we pray. Amen. Chief Barango, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Good evening, Council, Mayor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin this evening, I'd like to make a few remarks regarding the Pascalis lawsuit. We acknowledge that there were missteps in the process of Pascalis, and the city has learned from those lessons. The AMDC was abolished, and Project Pascalis was stopped. The city has worked closely with the Historic Aiken Foundation to get the Hotel Aiken on the National Historic Register. This important designation ensures the building is eligible for the historic tax credits that will support its redevelopment. The State Historic Preservation Office approved the application on November 15th, and it will next be considered by the National Park Service. We have engaged Colliers, a well-known real estate and marketing firm, to conduct an international search for developers interested in renovating and rehabilitating the former hotel and associated properties. We will be receiving the proposals before Christmas and are encouraged by the responses to date. The city has done these things and others to improve and move forward after Project Pascalis failed. Council would like to address some misconceptions about the lawsuit. First, it would be very irresponsible for a public body such as the city to not hire legal counsel to defend us in any lawsuit. To suggest otherwise is not a realistic response for a municipality served with legal action. Second, the city's attorney for this lawsuit made multiple attempts to schedule a mediation session with the plaintiff's attorneys. There are multiple reasons why this mediation has not yet occurred, but to insinuate that the city is the reason why the lawsuit is dragging on is inaccurate. The city and our attorney have been working to come up with a solution that was agreeable to all parties. We are in the process of complying with the recent judge's order. We continue to ask the plaintiff's attorneys to schedule mediation. I appreciate the opportunity to address this item tonight. Since this continues to be an active lawsuit, there's not much more to be said. We will not be responding to questions about this matter at this time. City Council acknowledges mistakes were made with Project Pascalis. We continue to apply the lessons we learned as we move forward to serve Aiken and its citizens. Thank you very much. And now the meeting begins. Before the meeting begins, I'll review the guidelines for the meeting. Meetings are public forums in which many opinions are expressed and the business of the city must be conducted. As such, disciplined, honorable, and professional decorum is important. Courteous and respectful communication is required. During public hearings, all questions and statements from the public should be directed to the chair. If you wish to speak, raise your hand, please, and I'll recognize you. Please approach the podium and state your name and address. In order to allow an opportunity for everyone who wishes to address council, speakers should limit their comments to the subject being discussed. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes to address an issue and may only address an issue once unless questions from council are opposed to the speaker. During the non-agenda public comment section, each speaker has 3 minutes and can only speak one time. We now move to additions and deletions to the agenda. I recognize Mayor Pro Tem Ed Girardeau for this agenda item.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you. The next to last meeting, and it'll be Christmas. It's also Happy Thanksgiving, and it's Carolina Clemson week. Obviously, go Gamecocks, beat Clemson.
Okay.
If you're the other side, you can stand up and yell, beat us too. That's fine. I had to explain that to my partner today at work. You can do it too, the other way. All right, we do have a couple of deletions from our agenda tonight. The first one is under presentations. We will not have an update from the Aiken Performing Arts Group. And we also will not have, under petitions and requests, number 1, approval of a resolution between the City of Aiken and the Aiken Performing Arts Group. Those 2 items will be continued until December the 9th, which will be our last meeting before Christmas. But we have an addition as well. It's kind of fun. I don't usually have any of this, so it's great to have something to read. Presentation by Engineering and Utilities Director Mike Probalowitz. I know I messed it up. They have it spelled out, so it's phonetically spelled here, and that did not help. About the recent letter sent to the water account holders. So a lot of people got a letter, and Mike's going to talk about that in the presentation, which I guess will be right now. So that's it. I present this as a motion.
Thank you. He made the motion, and do I have a second? Councilwoman Brawl. All in favor? All in favor? Thank you. Thank you. All is in favor. The vote is unanimous. The minutes were provided to council for review prior to the meeting. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes, please?
I so move.
Councilwoman Diggs made the motion to approve. I need Councilwoman Price made the second motion. Any comments or changes? All in favor? Motion passed. Thank you. We have one presentation besides, he'll go first. We'll ask you for your presentation now on the letter we all got.
All right, well, good evening. Thanks for the, I guess, presentation time. Should have done this last council meeting, but anyways, a letter, kind of back up a little bit. As far as being a water producer, City of Aiken produces water, supplies water. We were mandated by DHEC at the time, which is now DES, and EPA to do a survey of all of our water lines as far as sizes, quantities, and material. That inventory has taken about 9 months to do so far. We had to have our results turned in October, by the end of October this year. Through that, there was 12,400, I think it was, 12,400 unknowns that we had in our system. Also, that included the line from the meter to a residence or customer's house. So what they wanted next for us to do is they mandated us as a water producer to send out a letter, and they gave us verbiage to send out, which is the letter that most people received, well, 12,400 people received. We were allowed to add in a few things of our own, but overall the verbiage was mandated by DHEC or DES. So these letters had to be out before November 15th, and we have to send our results back to DHEC or DES by December 20th. So letters went out. Basically, it's got a lot of EPA and DHEC verbiage in it, but the main thing that we have to supply DHEC out of this is what type material is on the customer side of the meter to their house. Is it PVC? Is it plastic? Is it galvanized? Is it copper? Whatever it is. So we sent out the letters. And unfortunately, y'all didn't know until you received it, but we sent out letters, 12,400. We've gotten 1,200 responses so far today. And most of them, other than, well, out of the 1,200, 1,000 of them had given us what they thought their material was. We had 200 responses that asked us to come out and help them. Also, over the weekend, staff went and visited Eyes on Aiken and talked with them about it. There's another meeting scheduled December 7th, and I think that's at the Clyburn Center. And then there's another meeting at the VFW on Hampton that staff will attend and help and answer questions and just help people out. So most of, all of the people that received letters are either we didn't know what material they had, or their house was built before 1986. So those were the thresholds of people getting the letters. If your house was built before 1986, and we didn't know what material type is, DHEC said we needed to send a letter. And if it was built any time and we didn't know what material it was through records, through repair history or whatever, then you basically got a letter. So from now, we have to respond back to DHEC by December 20th with our results. We have 3 years to come up with our inventory of all of our unknowns. So we'll send out letters again to, once they give us dates, once DHEC gives us dates, we'll send out letters again to try to compile more of the information. And then by, in 3 years, we have to send our complete history with all of our unknowns with material types. After that, then we have 10 years to replace any of the lead, copper, or galvanized that's within the system. Now, that's on our side, not the customer side. So right now, all they want to know is what is between the meter and the customer's house. So whatever pipe that is in the ground, whether it's PVC, galvanized, copper, whatever. So that's what this is all about. DHEC gave all kinds of crazy stuff in there and had people scared. I was at a conference last week, water conference, and this was a big topic because of the rules, because of the regulations, and because of the verbiage that was mandated in the letters that scared everybody half to death. Everybody thought they were going to die from lead poisoning. But so we are scheduling meetings with the community to go over the letter and address concerns, and then also help people try to figure out what's on their side of the line. So that's what this is all about.
But we don't need to respond if from that to that letter, if we got a letter and it's.
If you got the letter and you know what it is, yes, I mean, we would like to get a response back. So
bad.
that way it helps our inventory, because in 3 years, we have to have all of that accounted.
Mike.
What happens after that, I don't know, but that's what we're mandated to do right now. Yes, ma'am.
Mike, we may have to take that a little further and put it on the news, you know, a little blurb on Channel 6 News when you wake up in the morning, and put it in the newspaper as well, because I can tell you, I don't remember getting a letter. And
Well, if you didn't get a letter,
this is the
either a house
first-
was built before 1980 or after 1986, or
It was.
we had the material type in our inventory.
I
So
don't-
not everyone had received a letter.
Yours was built after 86.
Right, mine was built in 2005.
So you
Right.
don't need to
So
worry.
you didn't
Oh,
Oh, you wouldn't get
okay.
it.
All right,
Would
so
not get
that's
it.
the
Yeah,
part I didn't
before
hear.
1980.
Okay, I'm stupid. I didn't
Before.
hear it.
No,
Not stupid.
I didn't hear that part.
you weren't paying attention.
But I definitely wasn't
Good.
paying attention. But, okay, but for the benefit of those others, you're still gonna have to take it up a notch, okay? Just saying. Thank
Matt?
you.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Mike, the calls that I've been getting, and I've shared this with Stuart as we all had some conversation there, there are people that do not know what they have
Right.
planted under that soil. And one gentleman called me and said that he did not know. He called someone out because he didn't know how to get the material that was providing his supplies to his home. And the guy said, I can check this, but it's $150. And the question was, these letters are coming out, how, if people don't know what's the contents, then how do they get this information to you if they can't afford to pay for that service for someone to come out?
Well, so in the notice, there's a QR code, excuse me, where you can fill out the survey, and then it's also asked you if you need help determining what your material is. And out of the 1,200 calls, 200 of them were, we need help deciding what our material type is.
So that
We're going to go out and help them.
okay, but you have to access that QR code first.
Yes, or call the number that's in the letter.
Okay. All right, this is very helpful to share.
Thanks, Mike. I know what mine is. We had to replace it 3 years ago, so I know exactly what it's.
Well, if you got a letter and you know what it is, send it back to us. It'll help us out. But if you didn't get a letter, we either know what type it is or it was a newer built home.
We received ours on Saturday.
But,
Tell our association.
I received one call about it. It was from my mother. And they bought that house in 1964, so it's about, I was 4 years old. So 60 years of my life of drinking that water, I told my mother, I don't think we're going to die anytime soon, unless it's natural causes. Is that pretty accurate to make that statement and then find out? I know we want to find out, everybody. And I don't know what the pipes are underground. I have no idea. I know I replaced mine.
I mean, it's hard to say, but I don't know.
I know. It's one of those things.
Without checking it, you know, was there repairs done before at one time? I mean, who knows? You know?
Yeah, it is, the letter was a little unsettling.
Yeah, unfortunately, the letter that we had put together was pretty straightforward in about a half a page, but DHEC said no, because we had to send them the letter, then them approve it, and they said, no, you got to add all this other stuff. So,
Yeah.
Mike, there are also other correspondence going out to households as well, making people aware that the city's responsibility is to maintain its right-of-way. Whatever is beyond that right-of-way and your home, you're responsible for it. But they're asking for different prices on a monthly basis and a yearly basis to work with different companies to ensure that they have the protection that they need. And some of them you can say is minimum. It starts at $240. It may run $7 to $10 a month. Are you aware of that sort of that's going on as
not
well?
real sure what that's all about. They're going to
Yeah.
protect. You're going to protect your right of way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Seems a little odd to me, but I'm not aware of that.
I will try to get some of those letters to you.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind looking at
Okay.
it. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. We now have the presentation for the Hurricane Helene recovery from Mr. Beedenbow.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council and everyone. I have the following update as of today, November 25th. Remember, there's our staff, and we have several contractors picking up debris. Our staff are focusing on cleanup efforts on city-owned streets. Since the last update, we've gone through Stratford Hall, Hidden Haven, River Bluff, the Cardinal Oriole area, Dunbarton Oaks, Forest Heights, and Virginia Acres. An estimated 39,000 cubic yards of debris have been collected and deposited at our city site at Citizens Park. Our contractors at that site have begun grinding and hauling from that debris site to handle the tremendous amount of debris, and that is going to a landfill in Blackville, South Carolina. And a reminder, as we stated last meeting, because of contaminants in the storm debris, we are unable to offer mulch to the public or use it for city-related purposes, as we have done in past major weather events where a lot of fibrous material has been dropped to the ground. The city's intention is to continue to collect storm debris as long as it's needed, with the understanding that tree work continues as well. When we're ready to resume regular yard debris pickup, council and the public will be notified in advance. Our county contractor, SDR, continues cleanup efforts. They're focusing in Woodside right now. They have collected 39,000 cubic yards as well through November 25th. They are working 7 days a week. SCDOT contractors continue to work on state roads, primarily in the Kalmia Hill neighborhood. I understand there were some in Crosland Park also this weekend. The West Cliff area with SCDOT roads has been completed. Those SCDOT contractors are not providing the amount of debris collected within the city limits. They are depositing their debris at Aiken County Fairgrounds over off of US 1 north of the city limits. The county contractor SDR, their debris, as a matter of information, is going to the intersection of Anderson Pond Road and Silver Bluff Road, a large, very large field there. We are pleased to announce that our recycling pickup will resume normal schedule next Monday, the week of December 2nd. As you know, to expedite clean debris, to help with the debris cleanup, we've been commingling recycling with garbage. Contractors will begin paver repairs in the downtown business district. We expect it to be this week. We thought it would be today, but that work will begin in earnest, we hope, this week. The Carolina Bay was closed due to a number of trees down after September 27th. That reopened to the public last Monday, November 18th. I'm pleased to state that Hopeland's Gardens and Rye Patch will open to the public for regular hours on December 2nd. Christmas at Hopeland's will proceed on schedule with the opening date of December 14th. To date, we've spent over $992,000 on hurricane-related expenses, not including payroll. We continue to update the storm debris cleanup map, social media, and the city website with any relevant updates regarding hurricane recovery. So that is my report today.
Thank you. We now open the floor to public comments on non-agenda items. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker and for a total of 30 minutes. Mr. Reynolds, Ms. Joby.
Hello, my name is Leslie Giobbi. I live in the Horse District on Grace Avenue. I'm here because we have a real problem with speeders in the Horse District. In fact, yesterday, someone that you and I both know, Lauren Gibson, was almost hit by a truck that was speeding and sidewinding on Grace Avenue, like sidewinding and going like this, and going 50 or more miles an hour. And ever since, and we have a real problem with Two Notch Road. When you come off of South Boundary, there are no speed limit signs really on the right side of the road, and there are just a few if you're coming from Boardman, up to South Boundary on Two Notch. So we need more speed limit signs, and I don't know what we're going to do about the speeders. Ever since they paved it and put down the double yellow lines, it's been kind of like 70 miles an hour, really, and it's just not safe. So I just want people to put their thinking caps on, and I'd be happy to meet with whoever and help come up with some ideas and make it a safer place for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Leslie.
you coming.
Thank you, Ms. Leslie. Mayor, I appreciate you coming up to speak to us, Ms. Leslie. I played tennis at Odell Weeks, and those courts right closest to Two Notch Road, it is really unfortunate and scary to see the speeds that these cars that drive down Two Notch Road attain. They're definitely going at least 50 miles an hour on any given evening. Yeah.
One thought is that as you approach
Come up.
Boardman, as you approach Boardman from Pine Log, and there's a stop sign there. As you approach it, there should be a sign saying you're now entering the historic Aiken Horse District. Speed limit 15 miles an hour will be strictly enforced, and maybe say, and fines will be tripled. And then have unmarked cars backed into people's driveways and things and nail these people, and word will get out, and that will help take care of the problem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
I'm glad you brought it up because I notice it every time I'm there and I just forget about it and then I go on my way, but it's very dangerous.
It is, yes.
Yeah. What is the speed limit on Two Notch? 35?
Yes, it is.
It changes.
So what the Two Notch where Odell is, so from Precision to maybe the to Price, just
Mm-hmm.
well,
It's 35 miles an hour in the Horse District.
got it.
Signs that said it's crazy.
Yeah. Scary. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rinaldini?
Good evening, everybody. Louis Rinaldini, 638 Magnolia Street. And I just wanted to follow up on our discussion last week because there were some comments after I sat down about, the willingness of the council members to be transparent, open, and in favor of, full disclosure of some of the items that we're asking for in our lawsuit. And I think I understand the sentiment, but the fact is that we literally have received nothing that isn't essentially public information. We got things like minutes and agendas, which are already available to the public. So there's been no production of emails or any other sort of city materials there. And in fact, during the course of the week, there was a letter from the city's attorney, which, highlights or runs through several pages and talks about what happened along the way and why, basically saying it wasn't, bad intentions. This is what happened and it was, but the bottom line is you can read through that and one thing and another. Here we are, $500,000 and 2 years later, and nothing's been produced. So it's important for you to know that and factor that into your thinking because, our lawsuit doesn't ask for damages. It asks for disclosure. It asks for an acknowledgement of missteps. And I think, as we discussed the last time, that's a good thing at this point for the city and the council especially to embrace. Because whether you want to or not, even if you give your lawyers no instruction, if you're a municipality, what they're going to do is they're going to go fight every lawsuit and try to do the best they can to stop it, which is natural, normal. Unfortunately, that works against the people who are paying for that attorney to stop that lawsuit. Now, if it's a malicious lawsuit or something where the city could suffer damages, you understand the city wants to minimize that. In this particular case, I think it's an opportunity for the council especially to take an attitude that this is something that we favor full disclosure and the public is entitled to know. And in fact, the lawyer should probably have been given somewhat different instructions. It's not too late, we can still do that. Let's find out what happened and why it happened, rather than let's just stop these people who were trying to find out what happened and why it happened.
Thank you.
So anyway, wanted to give you that background. Thank you.
You missed my update. I will provide you a copy after the meeting.
Sorry
Thank you.
about that.
Thank you.
Just before you leave, where are you, $500,000, where are you getting that number from?
So,
Or what is it, is that your expense, our expense?
no, I think that's I don't know what the numbers are exactly. I have no particular information on that, but I'm guessing, if you get involved with lawyers and it takes 2 years, it's not free.
No, and it's nowhere close to that. Let's just put it that way. I'm asking you where you got it from. You're guessing. It's what you just said.
Yeah, it's an educated guess.
Yeah, well, sorry, you're not right.
It's not correct.
And we would love to give you stuff. We want to mitigate the lawsuit. That's basically what
You missed her.
There's no reason not to know what it is. We don't have to be guessing.
You're guessing.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments? Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Kurt Johnston, 114 Brewster Way. Actually, this week we've had a pretty good week. We've been able to help out. Well, first of all, go back to our outreach. We had between 25 and 40 people. We were able to get probably 4 or 5 of them off of the street altogether. We were able to hand out sleeping bags, tents, other things that they were able to get a shower if they wanted it. This week, the police have called us, and we have gone out and handled a few situations, that's what we want. We don't want these people to go to jail as much as possible. They're just out in the cold. That's the other part of this. This week it's going to get cold. Salvation Army, it's going to be tough, especially with them having no space at all. Well, very little. So just something to bring up. I know that none of us want to have a frozen person end up in our city. So like I said, we're getting the city, the community is coming together. We are starting to see more people getting involved in what we're doing. I need to talk to you next week. I've got a doctor's surgery scheduled for the 12th, but I've got some things on that. So I'll call you next week. Any questions?
If you send me your number, I'll send you the flyer. Okay.
I'll give it to them again.
I possibly gave you the wrong date.
Okay. Well,
You may
yeah,
be
if it's not the 12th, then we can work something
It's
out.
the 6th.
Oh, the 6th. Yeah, I think we can work
They
something out.
changed
you.
it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm really happy for the city, the way that they have stepped up as well. You all are part of the reason that we are seeing some of the successes that we're getting. We still got a lot of people out there, and we're still getting a lot of people in. We're getting them up from up north, and it's heartbreaking. And these aren't just men or women; these are families as well. So when they're coming in, it makes it a little more difficult. We can't just throw them in a tent. So just so that we've got
Thank you.
things, but we're taking care of it. And we thank you all.
You're wonderful. Thank you. Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Scott Goodith, 805 Mayo Lane, and I'm going to revert back to my 9th grade speed reading class because I got this just under 3 minutes.
Very good.
I'm going to share it with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name's Scott Goodith. My wife and I recently purchased the property at 433 Whiskey Road, formerly known as the First Church of Christ Scientist property. We had a dream of converting the 1972 building/brick ranch into a beautiful house that we would call home. We met with the planning department prior to purchasing to make sure we were not out of line with our intentions. We were assured that due to the fact it was not a historical structure and a non-contributing property, that the city and most of the people in the community would embrace any sort of improvement to that property. Knowing we would need an architect who not only had the background and expertise to transform it from a commercial building into a residential building, but who had a great deal of knowledge with what would be required to stay within the confines of the Historical Design Review Manual. We decided to hire McDonald Law as our architect. Not only did we do a great deal of research on the firm, but he came highly recommended by several builders in the community. He is very familiar with every aspect of the Design Review Manual, but he has also served on the DRB for 25 plus years. So we began the design phase, and I can assure you the architect, the designer, and myself gave a great deal of consideration and thought into the size, proportion, and scale of the overall project, while also making sure it met or exceeded all the guidelines within the Historical Design Review Manual, keeping in mind what alterations were necessary to change it from a commercial-looking building into a conforming residential property. Ben Lott, a board member who I believe has a construction background, stated at the meeting, quote, he felt we were in compliance with any and all guidelines with regards to our plans. We submitted our certificate of appropriateness application on August 12, 2024, and was not able to present our plans until November 14th. And prior to that meeting, we were told, quote, we did not need to attend a study session, end quote. And quote, why was our application on the agenda? I thought it was administratively approved by the board chair. Since the November 14th meeting, my wife and I have had some very difficult decisions to make. And I can tell you in the days since the meeting, we have received overwhelming response and support from so many people in the community, which has led us to our decision to modify our plans and resubmit them for approval. However, we are strongly,
You're over the time.
however, pardon me?
It's 3, you need to wrap up. I'm sorry? Oh, sure, sure. Yes.
She's speaking.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, I'm Kimberly Goodeth. I'm Scott's wife. So since the November 14th meeting, my wife and I have had some very difficult decisions to make. I can tell you in the days since the meeting, we have received an overwhelming response and support from so many in the community, which has led us to our decision to modify the plans and resubmit them for approval. However, we still feel strongly the first decision by the board should be rescinded due to the fact that certain board members voted based on a wrong set of plans. There was a serious conflict of interest by one of the board members, in addition to other discrepancies that were presented during the meeting. We are hopeful we can present our revised plans to an unbiased design review board. In doing so, our belief is the only way to receive an unbiased decision would be for Ms. Corey to recuse herself from any vote or decision involving the property at 433 Whiskey Road. Due to the fact that there have been several interactions outside of the DRB between my husband and Patricia Corey that we feel constitutes a serious conflict of interest. The first one is her very close proximity and exposure to our property. The second one is there was a direct conversation between my husband and Patricia Corey prior to the November 14th meeting in front of the property, in which she offered suggestions with regard to landscaping and fencing of the property. On item number 3, on Sunday, November 17th, while walking through the neighborhood, he had an interaction initiated by Ms. Corey where she fully disclosed, "I do not want to be staring at a garage from my front window." In addition to the above items, there were several untruths presented by Ms. Corey at both the study session and the DRB meeting on November 14th. She knowingly misstated to other board members, myself, and many in the community that a 3-car garage does not belong in this neighborhood, and there are no 3-car garages in the neighborhood. Knowing her adjoining neighbor of 40 years has a 2-story 3-car garage. I have reached out to Laura Jordan and Faith Hawks with these requests also, but have not heard back. We also have a bit of a fear at this point that we may face repercussions and even retaliation over this whole debacle.
Thank you. We have
Thank you.
1 minute left. Folks, I would like to take just a second to introduce myself, as I did, Scott Goodeth,
Thank you.
my wife, Kimberly Goodeth. I am retired from the banking business 25 years. My wife works for a Fortune 500 company. She travels the world calling on military hospitals and cybersecurity to make sure they're safe from any cyber attacks. She's going on 15 years in the Air National Guard. She's a master sergeant, and she served in the combat war in Afghanistan. We are human beings. We're not a corporation. We're not an LLC. We are 2 people that want to make this house our dream. We were blindsided. At the board meeting, we had no chance of rebuttal. It's wrong on so many levels. And that's where I'm going to leave it.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service.
Anyone else? Comments? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Mayor and Council, Barbara Williams on the north side of Aiken. I just wanted to make an announcement that the Sugar Hill neighborhood is sponsoring what we call an outreach effort, and that will be held on December 19th at the Smith Hazel Recreation Center. And what that means is we'll be collecting, but we'll also be giving to residents things like soap, deodorant, laundry, detergent, those kinds of things. We know a lot of clothes are given, a lot of food is given, but as one of my church members said on Sunday, her 2 grandchildren came to stay the weekend and used 2 rolls of toilet tissue. That's a lot. So when children are out of school during these holiday breaks, we just think we can fill some of the gaps, you know, with these kind of toiletries. And that will be part of one of the staple things that we'll be giving throughout the year. And I will like to announce also that the Sugar Hill Neighborhood Association will have its December, what I call it, December Christmas event, which is also a fundraiser for us, which will help support those kind of things that we would do probably about 5 times a year. So thank you very much.
Thank you for letting us know.
The date, please.
For the
December
community outreach pickup, that's December 19th, which is on a Sunday, and it'll be from 1 to 3. But residents and anybody can bring items, new items of the type that I described, to the Smith Hazel Recreation Center starting now, right now, up through that date on the 19th. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Charles Matthews. I reside at 120 Rolling Rock Road. And what I want to bring to council attention, I am the CEO and the founder of the Matthews Foundation. And the purpose of the Matthews Foundation is to provide clothing and gifts to the homeless and displaced kids in our school system, as well as provide scholarships to high school students that are seeking a higher education. So I just want to inform the city, this December the 7th, we'll have 70 kids that we will take out to Walmart and purchase clothes in amount of $100, and they can buy a gift for $25. Last year we had 30. The foundation is a 501c3. This year we did really well, so we took it up to 70 kids. So I would definitely be talking to some of the other groups here that working with the homeless community so we can come together and work with this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you, Charles. Charles, how do you select the children?
Can't come back.
How do you select the children? Okay.
Do you want to get
So
his
they
information?
pick out some from different grades. Okay. Excellent.
I don't think you can come back up. I'm sorry. If anyone else? Thank you all.
Madam Mayor.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
If I might comment on Reverend Matthews, Charles Matthews. He has a background at Savannah Riverside for many, many years and started an extra career by doing lawn maintenance. He's excellent with that as well. Charles has been a philanthropic giver for a number of years in this town and has never wanted recognition for anything he's done. An article was done on Charles with the Aiken Standard newspaper. Very powerful article with comments from the public about his giving. From that point, people read that article and started calling him and saying, I like what you're doing, and I want to help you with what you're doing. And when I used the word, God's gift started coming into him, and he formed that foundation. And with that foundation, the money has been coming in to help other people. And I want to thank you for that, Reverend Matthews. He didn't ask, just an article, one article, did it for him.
That's wonderful. Madam Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
I wanted to address Mr. Good. Am I mispronouncing your name? Good? I just want to tell you, I'm very encouraged to hear that you are reapplying. I hate that you had such a bad experience. I know the people on the DRB want what's best for Aiken. And I know you do too. You wouldn't have chosen to come here and build. So I am encouraged and thank you for having the wherewithal to reapply. And I hope that you have a better luck this time.
Thank you. Next, we have approval and discussion of appointees to various city boards, committees, and commissions. Mr. Beedenbow.
Thank you. We have the following appointments, or actually reappointments. Ben Lott to the Design Review Board, Peter Messina to the Planning Commission.
Is there a motion to accept these nominations?
So move, Madam Mayor.
I second.
Councilman Price made the motion and Councilman Diggs seconded. Comments from the public? Comments from the council? All in favor? Motion passed. Thank you. Are there any nominations to consider at our next meeting? Okay. Next item under old business is second reading and public hearing of an ordinance approving the sale of property owned by the city of Aiken located on Williamsburg Street Southeast. Mr. Beedenbow.
Thank you. The ordinance is entitled,
I'm going to excuse myself.
Councilman Waltz is recusing himself.
Oh, right. Thank you.
Thank you. The ordinance is entitled an ordinance approving the sale and conveyance of the property owned by the city of Aiken located at 102, 114, and 118 Williamsburg Street Southeast. This property was acquired by the now defunct Aiken Municipal Development Commission, $175,000. We abated it. It was a Brownsfield property. That's why it was on the market for such a while. We did have a grant from the Federal Environmental Protection Agency to abate the property. It involved a majority of the abatement done was removing barrels and trucking off contaminated soil. And it is in the Department of Environmental Service, the current agency that took DHEC's place. It is in their voluntary cleanup program, the VCC. It transferred to the city of Aiken after council abolished the AMDC. We released requests for proposals in August with a due date of mid-September. We received one proposal from CH2 Holdings. The principal is Christian Hershocker. He has created an LLC, Marketside Village, to purchase and develop the property for $315,000. We heard at a work session last meeting of the plans that were proposed by Ms. Head and Mr. Hershocker, and council approved this at first reading at the meeting on November 12th, and it is before you for second reading this evening.
Thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve this sale of property?
So moved.
Councilwoman Broll made the motion.
Second, Madam Mayor.
Councilwoman Price seconded the motion.
And I may, one other thing, late today, I got a survey plat that is at your desk, rimmed in red, that shows the plat. As you know, we are cutting off the bottom 50 feet, which is approximately, thank you, it is approximately 3/4 of an acre that will be for a driveway to connect Marlborough Street to Williamsburg Street, along with some on-street parking. So that was presented to me by the surveyor around 4 o'clock today. So that is at your desk. And I've presented a copy to Ms. Head, who is here on behalf of the potential purchaser.
Thank you. Any comments from the public? Comments from council?
I did the motion. I did. I did the motion. I made the motion.
We did that already.
She made the motion, and I seconded.
And we're all overjoyed, obviously. So
Gary's too busy filling out Ed Waltz's name.
all those in favor then? And thank you very much. Motion passed unanimously.
We look forward to seeing the improvements on that property. Thank you.
Yes.
We now move to new business. The first item is first reading and public hearing of an ordinance to annex 111 Jefferson Davis Highway and zone it general business. Mr. Beedenbow.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The ordinance is entitled an ordinance to annex property located at 111 Jefferson Davis Highway and zone the same general business. This property it used to be a gas station convenience store. It has been vacant for quite a while. What the applicant is requesting of this approximately 96 hundredths of an acre parcel is to rezone it to general business and annex it into the city because it is currently contiguous to the city limits. It is on the western edge of our fire district and our water and sewer district. So we can't really get anything. This is the extreme western edge right there at the corner of Hitchcock Parkway and Jefferson Davis Highway. So the Planning Commission at their November 13th meeting heard this. All those present unanimously recommended annexation of this parcel and zoning it general business. It is before you for first reading this evening, and I believe it's supposed to be an oil change business, a quick oil change. Take 5 quick oil change. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good to have. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilman Gregory made the motion. I need a second.
Second.
Councilman Girardeau second the motion. Any comments from the public? Comments from council? All those in favor? Motion passed unanimously. The next item under new business is first reading and public hearing of an ordinance to annex 2122 Pine Log Road and zone it RS15, residential single family. Mr. Biedenbach.
Thank you. It is entitled an ordinance to annex property located at 2122 Pine Log Road and zone the same residential single family RS10. I do want to add the memorandum in the paper packet. A gremlin got into it and we double added the convenience store. We apologize for that, and the proper one is at your place, but it is a residential annexation across from the Kemper Downs entrance. It is consistent with adjacent single-family dwelling and residential zoning, and all those present at the November 13th Planning Commission recommended its annexation and zone RS15 residential single-family.
Thank you. Do we have a motion, please, to accept this ordinance?
So moved.
Councilman Girardeau made the motion. Councilwoman
Second.
Broll second the motion. All those, are there any comments from public? Comments from council? All those in favor? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you. The third item is first reading and public hearing of an ordinance to amend the 2024-2025 budget for the Community Development Block Grant Fund and Franchise Fee Fund. Mr. Biedenbach.
Thank you. It is entitled an ordinance amending the budget of the city of Aiken for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2024 and ending June 30, 2025 for the Community Development Block Grant Fund and Franchise Fee Fund. What we are doing is capturing the revenue from the sale of the building that was just proposed at the corner of Williamsburg and Richland, and a potential expenditure pending council approval for purchase of property at US 1 in front of the airport. These require a budget action, and this is a 2-reading item, and we would do a first reading this evening for council's consideration.
Thank you. I'd like the motion, please.
I move, Madam Mayor.
Councilwoman Broll made the motion.
I second the motion.
Councilman Price second the motion. Comments from the public? Comments from council?
I would assume this means that when it closes, this is all going to be a transaction, correct?
Yes, sir.
Second it.
Okay.
Should we? Oh, he's there. I couldn't see. Okay, so all those in favor? Thank you. Motion passed unanimously. The last item under new business is approval of a resolution to authorize the purchase of property at 2439 Columbia Highway North, and that's in the Aviation Business Park area, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
from Security Federal Bank. Mr. Beanborough.
Yes, Madam Mayor. It is a resolution authorizing the purchase of a tract of land located at 2439 Columbia Highway North in Aviation Business Park. This is something that goes back a couple years ago. You may remember we had someone interested. The Security Federal's had this property for sale since 2018. Initially, it was purchased by the bank about 20 years ago with the belief or thought they would build a processing center, relocate their processing center that's on East Pine Log Road out near the interstate as the bank was expanding into the Midlands of South Carolina and into the Augusta, Georgia area side of the Savannah River and of the CSRA. That did not come to pass. There have been folks looking at the property. As you know, it's got a lot of covenants and restrictions to aviation-related businesses. So we we've had projects come to council. You might remember a dollar store was looking at it, and the Aviation Commission consulted with council and said this was not the best use of it, so that did not come to pass. So council directed me to work with Security Federal to try to come up with a price, some sort of price that was not so, I will use the word draconian. I calculated based on the terms of the 2004 sale, which a copy of the contract is in there, where there was going to be a 5% per annum fee, taxes, etc. Security Federal at first in 2022, we went back and forth in a very amiable discussion. It moved like molasses, but at first Security Federal said, well, we'll waive any attorney's fees, maintenance, insurance, and all property taxes prior to fiscal year 2015. That got the price down to about $461,000, which was still very high because the value of it is in the around $300,000 plus or minus dollars. So I've calculated, just based on if that was still into effect today, the purchase price at 5% per annum, property tax from 2015 through 2024 would be about, if we were to purchase under those circumstances, it would be $501,277, so about $500,000. So Security Federal and I went back and forth, and what was I think the best and kind of best and offer was appraised value and add the broker's commission to it. It's a commercial property use, so it's a 10% broker's commission. Security Federal paid out of their pocket for 2 appraisals. The average cost of the appraisal of the 2 appraisals was $298,250. One appraisal came in at $276,500. The other appraisal came in at $320,000. Copies of both appraisals are in the packet, and the average is at $298,250. Adding in the broker's commission, it puts it, or the realtor's commission, it puts it at $328,075. I will say, long term, this piece of property, this is nothing imminent, but I will say, long term for the airport, and this will probably be, I don't expect anyone to be up on the dais when this comes to pass, but owning this property, the terminal building is going to be moved at some point. That's in like the very long range plans closer to the highway, because the parking apron in the rear, now that we have the instrument landing system and have so many large heavy iron jets, your Gulfstreams, your Falcons coming in, we're only going to see more and more of that. So having this parcel back under city control, it's only going to get more expensive because that property is going to keep going up in value. And I think it's based on what council gave me direction. It was 25 months ago. I think we've arrived to about as good a solution as I think we can with the views of both parties. And this is before council for consideration this evening, Madam Mayor and council.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved. So, go ahead.
Councilwoman
I second
Diggs, Price and Councilwoman Gregory. 1 and 2. Councilwoman Gregory made the motion and Councilwoman Price seconded. Is that right?
Yes.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the public? Comments from council?
I have a question. When we first went through this, what is it? The federal airplane people.
FAA.
FAA. You see, I fly an awful lot. They were going to put some of that money back, reimburse us. Is that still?
At this point in time, that is not an option. We could ask because what we could do is put it into the airport plan. But again, with that, remember what this does is this means other projects get delayed. But certainly that's something I could talk to the airport manager who works in Mike Prisbylowitz's department,
right,
and our airport consultant.
Well, I think it was like 90%. So yeah, we ought to look into it if we can.
Yes. I mean, in theory, we could get that money back. Yes.
Okay.
But I know we're also to the point where we are looking to make major improvements to the runway, convert it from asphalt to concrete, which that's something that I think we could see if we could get some refunds. Yes.
Well, like you said, it's some time in the future. So
yes.
Thank you. And the property the property was listed.
The property's been listed since 2018, and I believe Mr. Ateka from Security Federal's here, but it's been on the market for 6 years.
So therefore, commission is due.
Yes, they still have an active listing agreement with the realtor.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All those in favor? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you. We now move to petitions and requests. The first is approval of a resolution.
We're continuing that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't X that out.
Yep.
And 2 water things. The first item is approval of a resolution to accept a deed of dedication for water and sanitary sewer lines and related equipment and associated easements for Colleton Park, Section 3. Mr. Beedenville.
Yes, the owner has asked that we accept a deed of dedication for these water and sewer lines and related equipment and easements. Our staff's reviewed it and recommends approval, and it is before council for consideration. The resolution that is authorizing acceptance of the deed of dedication from Colleton Park Partners, LLC.
Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Councilman Girardeau, and second by Councilwoman. Councilwoman Diggs, second the motion. Any comments from the public? Comments from council? All those in favor? That's motion passed. Thank you. The next item is approval of a construction contract with construction manager at risk Harper Construction for the new Shaws Creek Water Treatment Plant. Mr. Beedenbow.
Thank you. This is approval of a resolution authorizing the city of Aiken to enter into an agreement with Harper General Contractors for the construction of the new Shaws Creek Water Treatment Plant. We've been working on this for quite a while, as you well know. We've had fortunate to have obtained bonds for about $32 million, at a sub 4% interest rate. We received a $10 million SCIP grant thanks to the efforts of Representative Clyburn and Senator Young, which was the maximum amount of money we could get from the South Carolina infrastructure program. And we've received a low interest loan. It's a sub 2%, I believe, loan. Yeah, it's between 1.5% and 2% loan for $27 million, which is the maximum amount that we can get through the loan program through the Rural Infrastructure Authority of the state of South Carolina. Now that we've bundled and got all the money ready, we need council to approve the construction contract so we can we have a guaranteed maximum price for the plant, and we are ready to go. As an aside, and you will get a formal invitation once it's proofed today or tomorrow. Won't be done today, but we're going to have a groundbreaking. That's going to be Tuesday. The plan is Tuesday, December 17th, 2 p.m. at the construction site at the corner of Gun Range Road and Columbia Highway North US 1. So this is before council in the form of a resolution for execution of said contract.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Councilwoman Price made the motion.
I'll second, Madam Mayor.
Councilwoman Broll second the motion. Any comments from the public? Comments from council?
Madam Mayor,
Exciting. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
It's exciting. Yes, it is. And I just wanted to ask Mr. Beedenbow, I went through this, and I mean, there's so much there. It's above my pay grade in engineering to do all of this. But at the same time, I know since we're getting federal funds and there's like the Davis-Bacon Act, BABA,
Yes.
CBE, who is our person that is making sure that we follow up and get those things filed?
We are. That's the next agenda item. Coincidentally,
Oh.
We're going to approve a compliance consultant service with Sam Cargill,
Okay.
who is a consultant we've used before for similar
That was
adventures.
my second part. I was hoping that that's who that was.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Question?
I guess we have
The other, we have been unbelievably patient. Patience is a good virtue, as you all know, and this is beyond excitement in terms of seeing this happen.
When did these conversations start?
2018.
Oh.
There was a work session in room 204,
That's right.
the old room 204,
I remember.
and we showed pictures, and council gave us the go-ahead to move ahead.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you to you and staff.
So I know that everyone is in favor. All those in favor? Thank you. Motion passed unanimously. And that's a lot of stuff to read.
I wondered why it was so big.
The final item under petitions and requests is approval of an independent consultant contract for labor compliance services
Heavy.
for Shaw's Creek Water Treatment Plant. Mr. Beedenbow.
Thank you. This is a resolution authorizing the city to enter into an independent contractor agreement with Sam Cargill to provide administrative services during the construction of the new Shaw's Creek Water Treatment Plant. Having this independent consultant, as Councilwoman Broll described, will be very helpful for us to meet those necessary requirements. And with Mr. Cargill's experience and previous experience, his personal experience and professional experience, and his experience working with us, he provides the necessary qualifications to support the project of compliance accounting, reporting, and filing. And the cost is reasonable for the services in the form of an independent consultant contract in a lump sum. He'll make the contract will not exceed $55,000 for almost 3 years of work from notice to proceed, 821 days, which Also, we would recommend approval of up to $4,800 in reimbursables for miscellaneous costs and travel costs, which would put the contract maximum at $59,800.
Thank you. Is there a motion, please?
So moved?
Councilwoman Gregory made the motion.
I'll second.
And Councilwoman Broll second the motion to accept approval. Are there any comments from the public? Comments from council? All those in favor? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Beedenbow, are there any items from the city manager this evening?
We have non-agenda items first.
We do? Sorry about that. Oops. I missed my page. We now open the floor to public comments on non-agenda items. Comments that are limited to 3 minutes per speaker and for a total of 30 minutes. Now we can ask you for your items.
I do. I've got one. I just want to note in issues and updates. At our last meeting, we heard from a vendor at the farmers market, Ms. Vicky Simons, and she had some concerns and questions regarding our new farmers market committee. And our staff has reviewed the questionnaire she provided and will incorporate the various components of it as part of the nominating process for the farmers market committee. And the registered vendor definition will change to, quote, 12 times in a 6-month period, unquote. And these updates are administrative in nature and do not require any changes to the ordinance. Also, we received official word, the DOT, on December 4th, or by December 4th, they will close the stretch. Initially, they were shooting to do it November 18th, but the little stretch of Croft Mill Road in between University Parkway, the bypass, and Vaucluse Road, that portion of Croft Mill will close to through traffic. It'll still allow, I think there's 2 residences on that thoroughfare portion of Croft Mill Road. They'll still have access via more of a private or non-cut-through portion, but that's part of the improvements to the intersection at Vaucluse Road and University Parkway, aka the bypass. And that's all I've got today.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I don't believe, no, I was texting with him earlier. I didn't see him, but I told him I'd recognize them next time they come. But they are some high school students that are working on a term paper. I vaguely remember those. And South Aiken High School.
It's always good to see young people in the audience. I see 2 over here that I don't recognize. Can y'all let us know who you are?
They're thinking, oh my God.
Why is Miss Gale doing this to us?
You're not put on.
I'm sorry. Excellent. Glad to have you. And you, young lady?
Good sister, good
Right?
sister.
Hope we didn't bore you to death, but thanks for coming.
It is.
Come back anytime. Don't wait until you have an assignment. Just
Stop
come
in.
and hang out with us.
And I do have a go back on.
And
No.
I'm in.
Nothing to do with that. My comment is, if anybody needs help determining what their pipes are under their house, I would be more than glad to.
oh,
Wow.
You.
Right, okay.
I need $5 because I've got a lot of expenses. Seriously, if you have somebody.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Good to know. Thanks.
I do need to go back 2 things. The Christmas tree lighting is a week from Friday, December 6th from 6 to 7:30. We're lighting 3 trees. We have a artificial green tree at Lawrence and Richland. We have the lit tree on Newberry Street that moves with music. And then this year, Lex's team has planted a nice evergreen tree in the parkway in front of the old municipal building that will be decorated with lights. So there will be a live tree, an artificial tree. That's up to the mistress of ceremonies, I guess.
We're going to go
but-
to all of them.
That is correct. That is correct. And one other thing I want to announce, a couple of public safety personnel moves. Captain Marty Sawyer is retiring December 4th. That coincides with his 35th anniversary with the city. And the chief has appointed Lieutenant Jeremy Hembry to be the new captain of investigations. Jeremy is our reigning officer of the Public Safety Officer of the Year, and he has been with the city since 99, because this year I think is his 25th year. But he will be moving up from the lieutenant's position in investigations to be the captain. That is effective December the 14th.
Thank you.
And don't forget the Aiken Christmas Parade for those of you who have not entered yet.
What?
Oh, that's right. The Christmas parade is December
the
8th.
2 o'clock.
Normal parade route.
Aiken.
That's right. Assemblage starts at
1.
at 1 o'clock
Starts at 2.
at the railroad depot, and we'll follow the normal parade route to Lawrence up to Barnwell. It goes Park to Lawrence to Barnwell, the parade route.
And they have a theme, I can't remember.
And
It's Christmas.
The Aiken Downtown Development Association.
It's Christmas around the world, that's the theme.
Yes, and they will.
What a guess.
The Aiken Downtown Development Association is who coordinates that parade.
Right.
That is December 8th.
What date is it?
It is Sunday, December 8th.
It's always on a Sunday.
On the 8th. On,
Let me make sure I got the day right.
got it.
while you're doing,
It is the 8th. Thank you.
when you,
That is the date.
Captain Sawyer's retirement, does that coincide with him becoming the sheriff the next day?
Well, I guess what he's due to be sworn in, I think January 6th.
So he gets a month of retirement.
He's taking a month off. I'm sure he'll be doing a little bit of work.
I'm sure he will. But congratulations to him for winning that.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Councilman Girardeau and Councilwoman Grohl second the motion. Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Motion passed.
And that's you.